Happy Friday, everybody. I love saying that statement, especially when it's true. And in this case, it is. 10th day of April, 2026. I am Dan Kuntz. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. 43 degrees here in the valley. Sunshine most of the day. Later on in the afternoon into the early evening hours, the clouds will begin to roll in. Slight chance of a little bit of light rain. Pretty calm weekend. Then a cold front rolls in, and a pretty robust one at that on Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. We've had a very beautiful stretch of weather. I mean, talk about perfect timing for the local school districts to have their spring break this week, because it's been just beautiful weather. Kind of 3/4 of a beautiful day today. Again, later on is when we'll start seeing the clouds, but forecast is coming up. News, yes. Sports. A lot of things had to happen for the Kraken to stay alive to make the Stanley Cup playoffs. A couple of scenarios had to play out yesterday, and they did. Believe it or not, with 4 games left, they're still alive. They had to beat Las Vegas last night, the Golden Knights, and they did. Mariners didn't play. We'll have high school results and the high school schedule for today and tomorrow. That reminds me, our cameras, and more importantly, our camera operators, plus Sebastian and Daryl, will be at leave off the field of the Apple Bowl tonight. We'll have it for you. The beautiful game, the Wenatchee Panthers and the Eisenhower Cadets on the pitch. Boys High School soccer. Winner takes over first place, or at least a tie for first place, if not all by themselves. Tonight we'll have that for you. Taped to the air about 6:45, and the match will begin at 7 o'clock. In the back half of the program, we paid a visit to the campus of Wenatchee Valley College, specifically the interior part where it's real purty. Had a chance to talk to my old buddy Clint Strand. Haven't talked to Clint in a while. He, of course, is the new executive director of the Wenatchee Valley College Foundation, and also Bertha Ramirez, who's a counselor at Wenatchee Valley College. They are putting on a special edition of the Knights Care Fund. The Knights Care Fund has been around for a while, but they're putting aside some specific money for some specific students who have specific needs. We will specifically get into those details specifically in the back half of the program. So let's do it. Tour time. Here we go. That is, I'm done saying specifically. My tongue almost fell out of my mouth. High clouds, that's about it. That, of course, is the Wenatchee Heights camera. We had 69 officially yesterday at Pangborn Memorial Airport. That's where all that stuff is. I need to mention that every once in a while. When we talk about temperatures and relative humidity and wind, barometric pressure, all that weather-related stuff, the weather station that is maintained by the National Weather Service for our area is at Pangborn Memorial Airport, because you have to put it someplace. Somebody climb up to the tower at Hay Canyon and get that spider web off of there. Or is that a fly? No, it's a spider web. That's a spider web on the Hay Canyon camera looking way out towards the Wenatchee Valley. Looks like Malcolm has that zoomed out quite a bit there. Nice view there. There are the high clouds, and they are going to be thickening up as the day progresses. They're not going to get real low. They're going to stay pretty high in the atmosphere, but you'll notice the clouds will be increasing as the next weather system moves in just in time for the weekend. Leavenworth says, good morning to you. My guess is they'll still be doing more prescribed burns in the backcountry today, and they're going to roll that out. They're going to do even more. Next week, they're going to have a sizable controlled burn up Wenatchee Heights area and the Clockham area up on Wheeler Hill. Chelan County is planning on that next week. You'll hear about that during the news. Good morning to Leavenworth and Union Valley. Hello, Chelan, tucked down there behind that hill. That's a little chunk of the Chelan Butte, or a big chunk actually, that you see on the right, the Union Valley camera, high above on the north shore of Lake Chelan. So you can see a little bit of the town of Chelan proper from Union Valley and all the way over across the way to the Waterville Plateau. For the 4th straight year, we are in a drought. For the 4th straight year, they've declared a drought emergency. And here's an idea. The U.S. Drought Monitor gave an update yesterday. We are, as you can see, in a moderate drought here, abnormally dry along the Cascades. Not too bad in the Puget Sound area. Most of the water that will eventually work its way into our irrigation canals and fill into the Columbia, they really want to keep a close eye on the snowpack and the water equivalent in southern British Columbia, because it eventually becomes our irrigation water, and the stuff in our area becomes the irrigation water for the Tri-Cities, et cetera, et cetera. The junior water right holders in the Yakima Irrigation District, they got some bad news. They're not going to have enough water to water their crops this year. The drought continues. However, could see a little bit of rain, and believe it or not, Tuesday night, snow in the Cascades. Bring it on. From Colonial Vista Senior Living in Wenatchee, it's where comfort, care, and community come together. Another day of 69 under partly sunny skies. Again, Longer and longer into the day we go, the thicker the clouds will be getting, the denser the clouds will be getting. It'll be fairly cloudy by 6 o'clock or so tonight. It should be dry overnight tonight with a low of about 50. Partly sunny on Saturday. That's good. They were thinking mostly cloudy yesterday. Now they're saying partly sunny tomorrow with still about a 30% chance of rain on Saturday. Cooler, high of 65. Sunday looks pretty good. Mostly sunny with a high near 67. Pretty quiet Monday. Bountiful sunshine and a high of 64. And then things change on Tuesday. Later on in the day on Tuesday, the cold front comes in. Look at the difference between the high temperature on Monday and Tuesday. That's that cold front that's going to come in during the course of the day on Tuesday, specifically Tuesday morning. By Tuesday night, 30% chance of rain in the valley and a pretty good chance of measurable snow in the upper elevations. For the middle of April, not unheard of, but still pretty rare. And there's the cold air that's going to seep in. Look how cool we're going to get. 54 and 57. Our normal high this time of the year is now 60. So we're going to be above normal into the early part of next week, and then we'll be below normal by Tuesday and Wednesday. Going to take a break and come back with your headlines on this Friday. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Hi, I'm Amanda Walden with A. Walden Insurance Group. Medicare can be overwhelming, but you don't have to figure it out alone. I've been helping people understand their Medicare options for over a decade. Medicare isn't a one-size-fits-all. I'll help you understand your coverage options so you can feel confident in your decisions. Let's find the right Medicare plan for you. Call me today or come and see me at my office located on South Chelan Avenue in Wenatchee between the YMCA and the Social Security office. I look forward to meeting you soon.
When life gets stressful, reaching for a vape might seem like a quick fix, but vaping can actually make feelings of anxiety and depression worse. Each time you vape, nicotine tricks your brain into feeling rewarded. And the more you vape, the more nicotine receptors your brain creates. Over time, your body needs more and more nicotine to feel good. And when you can't get enough, you can experience withdrawal symptoms like anxiety, mood swings, and depression. Learn more at chooseyouwa.org.
Click and RV Moses Lake Superstore has gone mad with huge discounts on a huge selection of top brand RVs, which means the lowest prices, factory incentives, and rebates.
You guys gotta beat the spring rush and get in here now.
Shop online and find the floor plan you like, then build it, price it, and click it. Or come to the Moses Lake Superstore. From travel trailers to fifth wheels, toy haulers to motorhomes. The huge RV discount prices are here. Get a better RV and the lowest price guarantee only at Click It RV Moses Lake or clickitRV.com.
Be a winner like me and get to Click It RV.
At Colonial Vista Senior Living, we believe life is meant to be lived fully. Our wellness programs inspire residents to stay strong, flexible, and confident every day. Here, curiosity is encouraged, friendships are nurtured, and every activity is an opportunity to connect, create, and enjoy life together. We invite you to experience the lifestyle at Colonial Vista Senior Living for yourself and discover why so many call our community home.
Nice morning. High clouds 43 degrees. We'll be close to 70 today, but the clouds will be getting thicker and denser like me as the day goes on, but a pretty nice weekend. All things considered, it's about 9 minutes after the hour. The driver back in that November auto crash that killed two East Wenatchee boys, that driver now must stand trial for a vehicular homicide. 19-year-old Jared Jeffrey Smith of Wenatchee, formally arraigned Wednesday in Chelan County Superior Court on 2 felony charges in the deaths of 12-year-old Bentley Knight and 14-year-old Eric Figueroa. Back on November 21st, both boys were passengers in an Audi sedan driven by Smith, which spun out near the Easy Street roundabout after exiting North Wenatchee Avenue and collided with an oncoming pickup. Smith was injured in the crash, hospitalized for several weeks. In his hearing Wednesday, he pleaded not guilty to both vehicular homicide charges. Judge Robert Jordan set Smith's trial for June 23rd, although that date is likely to change. A farming route south of Moses Lake had to be shut down Thursday afternoon after a haystack fire broke out next to the roadway. The Grand County Sheriff's Office closed Road 2 Southeast just east of Highway 17. Firefighting efforts and the risk of drifting smoke led authorities to keep the road shut down overnight between roads N and O Southeast. Local traffic was diverted. We're told everything is now back to normal. It'll be at least another 200 days before the W.T. Clark Pipeline Bridge reopens to foot and bicycle traffic. The 118-year-old pedestrian bridge across the Columbia has been closed since last June. It's all part of the major update to the Apple Capital Recreation Loop Trail. That work involves new approaches on both sides of the river that will carry non-motorized traffic over the highways and railroad lines. The project is known as the South Wenatchee Pedestrian Project. The idea is to make the loop trail more accessible to communities who have been cut off by existing infrastructure. Hale Park in Wenatchee and the 9th Street Gateway Park in East Wenatchee both remain closed. While the construction proceeds, the pipeline bridge should be open again for trail access starting, we're told, come November. Confluence Health and Parque Padrinos are partnering again this year for the Be Well, Stay Well event as part of the El Niño celebrations later on this month. The Community Health Fair emphasizes health and wellness for families. It has a special focus on health disparities that disproportionately affect the Latino community. The event is part of the Washington State Apple Blossom Festival. It'll feature wellness booths, insurance help, kid zones, and games. And once again, like it has been over the last few years, it'll be held at Met-Hall Park, this time on April 26th. The U.S. Department of Energy has withdrawn its court effort to enforce a policy that would have capped reimbursement for Washington's state energy programs. The Trump administration policy would have cut off federal reimbursement for administrative and staffing costs at 10% of the project's total budget. That's according to Washington State Attorney General Nick Brown. Well, back in August, a coalition of states, including our state, sued the DOE over the policy, which Brown said threatened millions of dollars in funding for state energy programs. The U.S. District Court for the District of Oregon ruled in favor of the states. That was in November. The Department of Energy attempted to appeal that decision, but after it opted not to pursue the court case, Brown said the states will continue to receive federal funding for the programs. And mountaineering legend and Washington native Jim Whittaker died earlier this week at the age of 97. Back in 1963, Whittaker became the first American to make it to the top of Mount Everest, following in the footsteps of Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay. He and his identical twin Lou Whittaker explored peaks all over the world. Lou also made time to become the CEO of outdoor gear maker REI. From 1971 to 1979, Whittaker died Tuesday at his home in Port Townsend. As I said, he was 97 years old. That's the news at 13 minutes after the hour. We have a weekend on our doorstep, but we still got to work. And unlike me, they're probably going to work pretty hard in the newsroom to send the news your way at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock tonight. 5, 6, and 10, the news on the NCW Live channel. If you have unplugged your TV, you don't subscribe to a cable provider, and you just use the internet, our YouTube page will have our evening news right around 5 o'clock, Monday through Friday. In fact, all of our shows have their own individual page on our main YouTube page, so you can check out this show again. Why? I don't know. News tips? Send us an email, news@ncwlife.com. The Crocketer's still alive. That's good news. Highlights of a nice victory. When we do sports in 2 minutes, you're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Your favorite local channel is now available for free on your smart TV and connected streaming devices. Watch live programming and catch up with the latest shows on demand. See the local stories that matter to you. NCW Life, now on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV.
Fibercrete fireproof safety rooms can be the difference between life and death for you and your family. Typical fireproof safety rooms are 8x8 Fibercrete panels providing a solid sanctuary. Fibercrete safety rooms can be above ground, buried underground, or built within new home construction. Best of all, a safety room by Fibercrete is very affordable. Call 360-770-2088. You owe it to your family to find out more about Fibercrete safety rooms.
Are you dealing with a pest or weed issue and you just don't know what to do?
We use the best pest control methods approved for areas with kids and pets.
Whether it's rats, mice, ants, or spiders,
or something else altogether,
we provide the coaching and solutions you're looking for.
And you can know that your dollars are supporting a local, family-owned and operated business.
Allow us to help you get back to living healthy and pest-free. Harvest Valley Pest Control.
When your heating or cooling system is giving you trouble, call the diagnostic doctor from Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning.
Here's the culprit right here.
All joking aside, when you call Dick's, you're calling 35 years of experience at customer service right here in the Wenatchee Valley. Dick's strongly believes in repairing before replacing, and they service all major brands of HVAC units. Sports at 16 minutes after the hour. In order for the Kraken to stay alive for the Stanley Cup playoffs, two things had to happen last night. They had to beat the Golden Knights, and Utah had to beat the Nashville Predators. Well, guess what? They both happened. Berkeley Catton scored in the third period. Then he added the winner in a shootout in a Kraken victory, and at the same time, Utah beat Nashville.
Anderson with a shot off the goalpost, the second one tonight, off the plumbing for Vegas. Noah Hannafin. Here's Anderson. Stone with a shot. He scores unmarked. And plenty of time for the captain to pick his spot. No mistake for Mark Stone, and Vegas breaks the ice. Out of the reach and now recovered by Mitch Marner. He'll swing it. Tipped off the glass by Hurdle. Hurdle has 11 power play goals this year. And we pointed out earlier, goalless in 16. Eichel in the blue. They score. Mark Stone camped out at the near post as it pinballs around. We'll see if it got to Stone. It did. It's his second goal tonight. The goal line, Jordan Eberle. Stevenson, center point. He'll get it back from Dunn. Take it in. Dunn again. One-timer McCann. They score! Jared McCann with a bomb. A one-timer on the power play. And the Kraken cut the lead in half.
Move the puck well, and when they get back into the zone, same thing happens. Dunn over to McCann, second one-timer of this power play. This time able to get a little more right there. There's the deflection. Looks like it goes off of Hill's pad as well. You see the puck deflect. Oh, that's the posting in. That's what made the move right there. And again, the shooting mentality win.
Theodore tries to kick it along. He does. Pavel Dorofeev, a little handoff for Mitch Marner. Marner, the trailer, McNabb, Marner, across, they score! Brett Howden set up beautifully by Mitch Marner. And it comes back out to the center ice zone. 13:55 left. Seattle back down by 2. Adam Larson all the way in. Look out! It's a gift! Berkeley Catton! That's the definition of being in the right place at the right time. It's a lifeline for Seattle. They're down by 1.
Right back out into the middle of the ice. You see the puck dumped in. Hill going to play it behind. Catton able to settle that puck down. The dump in goes through. Favorable bounce for the Kraken right onto the tape. Settle it down, and nothing Hill can do on that. And you bring yourself right back within 1.
Not exactly a set play, but you earn your luck. And a smile on the kid. And the Kraken have plenty of time here. 13:49 left. Sealing the wall, Bobby McMahon. He throws on the brakes. He's defended by Rasmus Anderson. It ricochets around just by Hill. Good work by McMahon. Bobby's got it with a shot. He scores! Bobby back to the roof. A quick snapper.
Good pressure by the Kraken. Nice diving play. Eberle's going to end up winning the one-on-one battle. Pops himself into a position right outside the dot lane, going far side. Little bit of a screen with Anderson on his own goaltender. Hill, you get a great look here. Just past Anderson, up into the top corner over that blocker side.
Berkeley Catton, the first shootout opportunity of his young National Hockey League career. Here comes the kid. What a goal! The little cat gets it done. And the Kraken are up by 1.
On his way in, using his body, his head as well. Quick little move, backhand, forehand, shovel it up past that blocker side.
Now DeCord. The game's on the line here. That's all! Hey, hey! What do you say? The Kraken get it done in the shootout.
The win snaps that 6-game losing streak for the Kraken. They welcome Calgary to Seattle tomorrow night. The Kraken have 5 teams they need to pass with 4 games left. It's doable anyway. The puck drops tomorrow afternoon at 4 on both King and Kong. Mariners hope to stop a 5-game losing streak of their own. The Astros at T-Mobile Park tonight for the first of a 4-game set with Houston. Seattle's 4-9 overall, 3-4 in home games. The Mariners are 1-5. 1-5 in games decided by 1 run. Houston has a 1-5 record in road games. They're 6-7 overall. First pitch at 6:40 on King 5 TV. And the one game in the American League West, the Athletics at Yankee Stadium beat my Yankees 1-0. Prep baseball scoreboard during spring break. A lot of interesting matchups, including Chelan taking on Tenino. These 2 teams normally don't play each other in the diamond, but they did, and Chelan doubled them up. Kashmir shut out Cleveland. Brewster snuck by Meridian, and Warden beat Lake Roosevelt on the diamond. The schedule today, pretty light. Single game, Meridian and Kashmir at 1 o'clock. West Valley and Eastmont will do a doubleheader at Dan White Field at 4 o'clock. Eisenhower welcomes Wenatchee to town. First pitch, first game at 4 o'clock, and just a single game with Cascade at Waterville Mansfield at 4:30. And then tomorrow, doubleheaders across the board. They all start at 11, except that last one, Liberty Bell and Cle Elum. They'll get going at noon. Prep softball scoreboard, Afraid swept Grandview in CWAC action, 11-1 and 15-5. Kashmir rolled over Mount Baker, 14-1. Cascade dispatched Waterville Mansfield. Warden got by Lake Roosevelt by 10. Prep's schedule today, just one. That's it. It's spring break, light. West Valley welcomes Eastmont. First pitch of the doubleheader. First game, first pitch at 4 o'clock. Prep softball schedule tomorrow, not much busier. All doubleheaders, all at 11 o'clock. Cascade at Lake Roosevelt, Quincy at East Valley, Brewster at Mabton. Prep soccer scoreboard, Cascade doubled up on Waluka. The final there was 4-2. Toppenish stuck by Quincy, 3-2. Today, as I already mentioned, our cameras will be at Lieboff to Field at the Apple Bowl. This will be a big matchup. Ike and Wenatchee, 7 o'clock tonight. Sebastian Morago and Daryl Geddes with the call. Eastmont will hit the road and take on West Valley at 7 o'clock. And Prep soccer tomorrow, just one. Shalina Brewster at 11 a.m. And those are just some of the games that people are playing. I'm a little leery of today's obscure holiday. It's National Siblings Day. I have siblings. I have a lot of siblings. There we are. That photo dates to, I think, about 1971. 1970, 1971. There we are. That's a good group of people right there. I'm in the lower left-hand corner giving my sister Baji a bad time. And now we have a little dissolve to the Kuntz siblings. This is from about, thank you. Thanks, Malcolm. That photo was taken about 11 years ago, and as you can see, none of us has aged a bit. So to all of you who have siblings out there, today is your day. It's National Siblings Day. If you share the same parent, you have 50% of your parents' DNA. If you have a half sibling, you have 25% of their DNA. It's 23. There we are. Yeah, you can take that off now, Mac, anytime now. Let's move on to today in history, shall we? There's volcanic eruptions, and then there's volcanic eruptions, and this is the big one. Mount Tambora in Indonesia blew up on April 10th, 1815, and it continued to erupt for the next, are you ready for this? 3 months. 3 months. It blew almost 6,000 feet off the summit of Mount Tambora. It is the largest volcanic eruption ever recorded, and it changed the climate of the planet for 2 years. It sent so much up into the atmosphere, and it circled around the globe. And this was in April of 1814. The next year was known as the year without a summer. Temperatures in Europe were the coldest in centuries. This is the only volcano that in recorded history that killed people because they starved to death. They had the worst famine in Europe everywhere. Crops died, livestock died because there were no crops to eat. The worst famine of the 19th century was because a volcano erupted big time on this date 211 years ago today. I'm glad I wasn't around for that. We just got word from Southampton Dock. The SS Titanic has set sail. It is on its way from Southampton up to Liverpool and then across the Atlantic. We are looking forward to seeing the Titanic dock in New York City here in about 4 days. We'll let you know how that goes. 56 years ago today, John had left the group earlier, coaxed back into the fold by Paul. George had walked out during the Get Back sessions, coaxed back into the fold by Paul. Ringo walked out for 2 weeks during the White Album sessions in the summer of 1968. Paul convinced him to come back and join the band on this date in 1970. Paul said, "It was my turn to walk away from the band," and with that, the Beatles came to an end. Paul McCartney said he was leaving the Beatles, and nobody tried to talk him back out of it. It's an extraordinarily complicated story, more than we could possibly mention here, but if there's an actual date that the Beatles disbanded, it would be today. April 10th, 1970. And it's hard to believe it was 37 years ago today on the first pitch that he saw in his home debut at the Kingdome on this date in 1989. Well, here's what Ken Griffey Jr. did. You can just watch it for yourself.
And now has made the club and is going to play in center field for them. Whips that one to left field. First swing is deep. Kittle back. Goodbye, home run! His first swing at the Kingdome.
Unquestionably the most important and impactful professional athlete in Seattle history. I don't think there's a close second. Ken Griffey Jr. hits a home run in his first at-bat at the Kingdome. Heavenly birthdays, Joseph Pulitzer. You may have heard of the last name. Yeah, the Pulitzer Prize. He was the owner and the publisher of the New York World, which without question was the most popular newspaper in New York City, and there were about 100 of them. And if it wasn't for this guy, Joseph Pulitzer, the Statue of Liberty would not be in New York Harbor. The idea was they built the statue, the French did give it to us, but we had to build a pedestal. New York didn't have any money, so the statue just sat there in crates. Boston said, "We'll build a pedestal." Philadelphia said, "We'll build a pedestal." And the French said, "Well, fine, somebody build a pedestal and you get the statue." Joseph Pulitzer said, "No, it's supposed to be in New York, and let's make it happen." And so what he did, Joseph Pulitzer, he announced a drive to raise the $100,000 to build a pedestal, and he pledged to print the name of every person who contributed to the pedestal fund, whether it was a penny or $1,000, and people like to get their name in the paper. And because of that, the Statue of Liberty is in New York Harbor. Joseph Pulitzer, born this date in 1847. You know him as Colonel Sherman Potter on MASH for 8 years. Before that, of course, he was Officer Bill Gannon in the color episodes of Dragnet, and he was in about 150 movies, including some pretty good ones. Harry Morgan, born this date in 1915, lived a long time, lived to the age of 96. One of my favorite nonfiction authors, David Halberstam, born this date in 1934. The best and the brightest, his first book is The Definitive History of American Involvement in Vietnam. It is an outstanding book, plus the 50s, plus the powers that be. He's just a great author. We miss him a lot. I've read everything he ever wrote and probably a few things that he didn't. We mentioned Ken Griffey Jr. Happy birthday to his dad, Ken Griffey Sr., who fathered a child who became a legend. He's 76 years old today. For Heat and Air, call Alpine Air. For Heat and Air, call Alpine Air. They are our platinum sponsors. A couple of interviews coming your way from the campus of Wenatchee Valley College. First of all, Clint Strand and Bertha Ramirez for the Wenatchee Valley College Foundation. That's Clint. Bertha is a counselor at Wenatchee Valley College. They have a very important fundraiser going on right now. There's some kids who need your help. They'll talk about that. And then my interview with Sandy Cooprider and Greg as well. They're both coming up. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel.
NCW Life Channel is your local TV station. We believe in being the spotlight and mirror to the communities we serve in North Central Washington. Programming on NCW Life would not be possible without our sponsors. Special thanks to our platinum sponsor, Alpine Air. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Alpine Air.
For over 35 years, the Sangster family has been not only representing GMC, but the entire community.
As one of the few family-owned dealerships in Washington, you can count on our personal integrity, which has spanned over 3 generations, to ensure your satisfaction.
Sangster Motors stands behind everything we sell, from GMC professional grade products and service from a professional grade dealership.
Remember, caring about your family is what brings you back to ours.
Mow, dig, haul, trench. The reliable Kubota BX Series subcompact tractor is highly capable. A smooth hydrostatic transmission makes for easy operation and versatile attachments that help you handle the job. The Kubota BX Series is the #1 selling subcompact tractor in the U.S. Talk to your Kubota dealer to schedule a demo.
High school sports is back. Join us all spring for live coverage of Wenatchee and Eastmont soccer, baseball, and softball. Brought to you by our platinum sponsor, Alpine Air Heating and Cooling. Coverage also sponsored by Global Car Care, the Highlander Golf and Grill, Apple Valley Honda, Sangster Motors, Valley Tractor, Save Mart, Caldwell Banker, Biosports Physical Therapy, and Dick's Heating and Air. Your home for high school sports, as always, is the NCW Life Channel.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog McNally, and everybody's entitled to my opinion. So a friend posted on Facebook that Jesus was a socialist because he told us to feed people. Well, I mentioned that there's a difference. Jesus told me to feed people. He didn't tell the government to make me feed people. So, of course, some people jumped on my case for being, self-righteous, blah, 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 whatever I don't know. But look, you can attribute Jesus to your economic philosophy or your political beliefs, right or left. But it's not a question about whether Jesus is on your side or not. It's a question of whether or not you are on his side. This is Mike Mad Dog McNally, and that's my opinion.
Your favorite local channel is now available for free on your smart TV and connected streaming devices. Watch live programming and catch up with the latest shows on demand. See the local stories that matter to you. NCW Life, now on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV.
Apple Valley Honda is bringing the future of driving to you. Introducing the all-new, all-electric Honda Prologue EV. Say goodbye to gas stations and hello to a whisper-quiet ride and zero emissions. The wait is over. Finally, a local option for a quality EV from a brand with a track record of exceptional quality and reliability. Experience the Honda Prologue EV for yourself at family-owned Apple Valley Honda. Stay close to home and visit us at Apple Valley Honda today for the life you live.
Highlander Golf Course and Grill, your place for fun, food, and friends. Happy hour every day, 2 to 7. Try their brand new menu and famous prime rib every Saturday night. Planning a celebration? Book your holiday party, wedding, or private event, even in their exclusive simulator rooms. Highlander Golf Course and Grill, where every day is a celebration. Visit today.
We are back on the beautiful campus of Wenatchee Valley College on a lovely spring day. The gentleman to my immediate right is an old buddy of mine, going back to our broadcasting days. Unlike me, Clint went out and got a career.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, family
Look at you.
and civil service on the Leavenworth City Council, and now you're the executive director of the Wenatchee Valley College Foundation, taking over for Rachel Evie, who moved on to cool things. Rachel is missed, but you've stepped right into the role seamlessly. What I'm told, Clint, you've had it since early December, right?
Early December, yeah. No, it's been an incredible opportunity to help out all these students at the college, and what a great place. It's fantastic people and a great mission.
So the job came open. Did you sit around with your family and say, I think I might be pretty good at this? I mean, you had a pretty good gig before. What put the job of executive director of the foundation on your radar?
Well, I tell you what, when I was looking at the arc of my career and what I wanted on my bucket list, I always wanted to help people. It's what I did back when I was doing what you were doing, and back when I was working at healthcare institutions, but working at a place of higher learning, an educational institution where students are literally learning how to create better lives for themselves and their communities. That was always on my bucket list. And so when the opportunity with the foundation came up, you literally get to affect people's lives for the better. How cool is that? And so when I talked it over with my family, they said, you have to do it. And so I threw my hat in the ring, and what do you know, here I am.
And this is not like applying to flip burgers at a hamburger joint. All the candidates were well vetted, and then you sat down with the foundation board with Ron and Don and the whole crew there, and they gave you the green light. That's a lot of responsibility. Who's kidding who? It is.
It's a lot of responsibility, but it's a lot of opportunity too. I mean, thanks to the generosity of the community, our endowment has grown. We now give out hundreds of scholarships. We gave out almost $500,000 worth of scholarships this academic year alone. And we can't do that alone. That's due to all the generosity with the community members that see the value of education here at the college and what these graduates do for our region. So it's just a heck of an opportunity. A responsibility, yes, but really an opportunity, Dan.
And you inherited a great staff. I mean, you got Lupe, and you got, I want to say Cindy. I'm trying to remember the names.
We have Lupe, we have Cindy, we have Emily, we have Sam, we have Brenda, who helps us crunch all those numbers, and there are a lot of numbers.
Was it basically "Don't screw it up," Clint? Was that you marching?
I mean, the plane is at cruising altitude, Dan. There's a lot of opportunity, and it's exciting to see the places that we can go, but certainly, and all credit to Rachel and her leadership prior to joining Our Valley, Our Future. She really got this ship humming. And our board, who give of their time and talents, who make sure that they steward these gifts and these opportunities quite well. It's a great ship. It's a great ship. I just have to keep my hand on the steering wheel.
Well, speaking of hand on the steering wheel, there's a lot of folks who go to Wenatchee Valley College who can't afford to put their own hand on their own steering wheel because life is expensive. And this is where Bertha and the counseling crew come in, talk about what's going on right now. The Spring Appeal campaign is not like any other regular please send us money campaign. Clint and Bertha will talk to you both about this.
Right.
We're here for a reason, not just to talk to Clint about his career. That gets boring real quick, but we're here for a specific reason. There are a lot of people, not just kids, teenagers, getting out of high school and going to college, but people in middle age, changing careers, going to college. And nowadays, it's hard to make ends meet for just the basics, and that's what we're here for.
Well, that's the thing, Dan. It's really, really nice for the foundation to be dealing with the scholarships that we do, but that's regular need, right? That's cost of tuition. But as we all know, life throws you curveballs, and when you're a student, you are on usually such a shoestring budget. You're usually working, especially students going to a college like this. And so it's those types of curveballs, those types of unplanned things that can really derail an academic career that we are so proud to partner with the counseling office on, because they know best. They hear the stories for those students. And so what we do is with the Spring Appeal, this is our greatest mechanism to fill up this night's care fund. And then we're able to hand it over to the counseling department, and they hear those stories and they're able to help those students, Bertha.
Right, thank you.
Give us an example of that, Bertha. You're at your desk and the student knocks on your door and say, I'm a good student, I can go into school, I'm working nights, and I still can't make ends meet. Is that a typical?
Absolutely, that's typical. And I actually can share a little story without names to you, but we have typical, I can't afford to go to school, I can't pay for my gas, or a real story where I'm living out of my car because I lost my house. It's the middle of winter and I don't have a place to live. So not only the foundation's contribution to the Night's Care Fund can help this student at least stabilize their current homelessness, but we also work on, we have dorms, let's put them in the dorms. In that specific situation, we were able to pay for fees to the dorms plus the first payment and help the student apply for financial aid so that they could stabilize their situation long-term for academic success.
Is there one need that has become more acute than others over the last, say, couple of months?
Absolutely. Homelessness, so housing, gas, and food.
Well,
yeah. So life, right?
Yeah. Basically, outside of clothing, that's pretty much it. That's the basics of life, right there.
Absolutely.
So, what's the genesis of this? A bunch of you got together and said, let's earmark specific money for these students who are doing fine, except the checkbook's a tad tight.
So, I'm glad that you mentioned that. So 15 years ago, I've been here for almost 20 years, and 15 years ago, a student came to me and they were experiencing domestic violence and some other things, working full time, about to become a single mom. And so accessing funds quickly is really difficult, right? When we talk about financial aid, loans, all those sorts of things. So I went to the foundation and said, can you help us? And they're like, absolutely. And so we have been graciously receiving those funds for almost 15 years. But the gist of it is, it's low barriers, it's quick turnaround, and there's very few questions asked. We just want to make sure that the students, number one, are academically successful, but that they're safe too, right? And that we are providing for life so that they can continue to build those dreams and those careers and further, their education.
It's an immediate need, so it
Absolutely.
needs to be expedited quickly. You can't go through a bunch of paperwork and vetting processes.
Mm-hmm.
She's a straight conduit through the counselor's office, Clint. That's important.
It's super important, especially when you consider the students that most likely need this help. Remember, for so many of these students, just stepping on this campus is a victory. Over 40% of the students, I think close to 50% of the students that come here are the first person to achieve post-secondary, post-high school education in their family. Over 30% of the people who receive our scholarships are single parents. So the amount of challenges that they have successfully faced just to step on this campus are incredible. And so when those things come out of left field that threaten to derail, I am so thankful. It's one of the reasons why I'm happy to drive here in the morning every weekday. Is because we offer the ability for those students to have help,
right,
so that they can continue making a better life for themselves, for their families, for their communities.
It's hard to learn when you're hungry, isn't it,
Absolutely.
Bertha? It's hard.
It's absolutely hard. And the other piece is, it's also hard to ask for help sometimes, right? Yeah. So not only have they gone through everything that Clint is talking about, but then to have to come to an office and ask for food because I can't feed my kids, or gas because I can't make it to a doctor's office and to class. And so it's really humbling to have the students be able to come share their private story and then be able to, well, sometimes it's just $100. $100 goes a long way when you don't have anything, or, a tuition payment, $500-600. So it's really, really a humbling experience, and what a privilege it is to be able to partner with the foundation to provide for the students.
Dan, can I take a second and brag on Bertha and her department?
Oh, goodness.
You touched on something so important, in that we live in a community where people feel pride in themselves, pride in their accomplishments, pride in what they do. And you're right, for people to face those difficulties and to walk into your office, it takes a lot. And for her staff, I have been so impressed with the way that they deal with these requests with dignity and making them feel empowered rather than diminished coming into that office. It is so important, because if you're too scared, or you're too proud, or you're too fearful because of the consequences to ask for help, you're not going to. And everybody knows that Bertha's office is a super safe place for them to share and say, look, I have this going on. Is there anything you can do? And that's the whole point of this Nights Care Fund.
So the fund is out there. You can donate, and we're going to show you how to donate on the lower part of your screen. Take a look at that on the bottom third on this. People say, well, can I just go by Bertha's office and drop off a gift card or a case of toothpaste or something like that? But cash gives you flexibility to meet immediate needs, right?
Absolutely. So in regard to your, yes, absolutely. Any type of donation, minimal as it would be, goes a long way for a lot of students. People are interested. There are other things I'm sure they can call Clint Lupe that they can help with for students. So just any type of donation would be greatly appreciated.
And the need does not go down in the summertime, even though summer quarter is pretty quiet around here.
Absolutely not.
It's still a need.
If we have students, life happens, right? And so there's always a need.
Outside of the lower third, it takes you to the direct link to donate. Anything else that we need to know about specifically the Spring Appeal campaign that we haven't mentioned yet, Clint? Did we get it all?
I think we got just about it all. Thanks for including the link on the bottom third of the screen so people know. And again, the Spring Appeal runs through May, so make sure that that you're able to get it in then. But again, we don't close off donations at the end of the Spring Appeal. But certainly if you have a desire to help out folks at the college, we can do endowed scholarships. We can also do as needed scholarships. It takes as little as $2,000 to start your own scholarship for students here over at Wenatchee Valley College. So once again, get a hold of us. But in the meantime, if you have it in your heart and in your means to give during this spring appeal, we would certainly appreciate it.
Keep up the good work, Bertha.
Thank you.
He was really buttering you up. I was starting to get diabetes
He was.
there
I was
for a
going to
minute.
start blushing here. I have a great team, and we work at a great institution, so we really appreciate the help for students.
Have a good Earth Day. It's coming up. We'll be back here having the big party. Clint, keep up the good work. You need me, you know where to find me.
You got it, sir.
Say hi to Lupe and Sam and Cindy and the whole crew.
I certainly will.
I appreciate it. You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley. We will be right back.
A kitchen that makes mouths water and jaws drop. A bedroom from a dream with a bath from a spa. A walk-in you'd never want to walk out of. A pool like the fountain of youth. And a view that never gets old. When buying or selling a home of the highest standards, it's comforting to be represented by a real estate company with standards to match. Coldwell Banker Global Luxury. Live well with Coldwell.
Between juggling groceries, preparing meals, and lending a helping hand, you're a hero without a cape. But who's there to support you? Aging and Adult Care honors caregivers like you, the relatives, friends, and neighbors, helping loved ones remain safely at home. Aging and Adult Care offers chore services, respite, personal care, and more. Serving Chelan, Douglas, Grant, Lincoln, Adams, and Okanagan counties, call Aging and Adult Care at 1-800-572-4459 for caregiver support.
Welcome back to the show here on the beautiful campus of Wenatchee Valley College with two gentlemen who aren't so beautiful, but they're kind of nice. It's funny, when Greg Sparling and Sandy Cooperrider stand next to each other, they kind of look like the number 10, don't they? We won't go there. Greg is the AD of the Wenatchee Valley College, of course, Coop, Sandy Cooperrider, a legend in these parts. We're here to talk about the main event coming up the second weekend in May. But first things first, Greg, I did a little research this morning. I've been following loosely. I'm a busy guy. Your spring sports teams are doing pretty good, especially the Night Nine, the men's baseball team. They're tearing up the NWAC right now.
Yeah, they're doing well. They're on first place. They swept CBC over the weekend. We got Blue Mountain today at 1-3. We're really hitting the ball right now. Cut down on our errors. We're knocking the ball out of the yard, knocking it around the yard, but it's been fun. We'd like to invite the community out. It's we got 4 more home games after this and 3 more softball home games, and the kids are playing really well right now.
Last I checked, they were 10-2 this morning, first place in their division.
Yep, they went from down to the bottom all the way up to the top. I mean, they preseason was a little rough. They got into conference. You know, CBC's always been up top. Spokane. It was a very exciting time here on Saturday where we swept them.
Girls softball team, some growing pains. You have a new coach, and you were a little late getting a new coach on board. These things happen. Personnel changes, building the program back up. They're going to be good again. Yeah,
Mark's doing well. His number 1 pitcher got hurt, so she's been out the last few games. Numbers were limited coming into camp, and he went out on campus and grabbed stuff. We've had some good success, and right now is we just got to try to get in the top 4 and see what happens and build on it each year. I like what Mark's doing, and the girls are out there competing.
We've made no secret about this. Our mutual friend Eric Granstrom talked to you shortly after you got the gig. You inherited kind of a mess here, Mr. Sparling, but you seem to have turned the ship around, so to speak. You're turning the ship around. You can't turn it on a dime, but you were given the keys to say do what you can, and you seem to be doing it.
No, we're doing well. With Sandy and Greg and some other people, they're really helping us out. And with this Kenny Mayne deal right out of the gate, it's a big event. I mean, we sat around us 3 and we added Patrick, and we got 4 guys sitting around the table, and all of a sudden this thing came to fruition, and now it's getting bigger and bigger as we get closer. More and more tickets are getting sold, more and more clubs are jumping on board, but it's been a lot of fun. We had New York Life and Braden Dragoo and his finance donate $25,000, and that's huge. And I think we're just building the bridge back from the community up to the campus, and then to the campus up to the athletic department, and it's getting better day by day as we get our story out there. And that's all we're trying to do is is get the community back involved, the campus community, and enjoy, our night's athletics.
It begins a sort of a self-fulfilling prophecy. You get out of the issues that you're in. That means you can start building winning programs, which brings better athletes in, which brings fans in. It keeps going in that direction. That's the key, right?
Well, it is. It's all about the student athletes. I mean, we're getting the right student athletes because they're excelling in the classroom, and we got a float in the parade, so we'll be out in the parade, and we're doing community events. Soccer's been out doing some things. They got their spring season going. Volleyball is going to play at Big Bend in a couple weeks. But it's all about the student athletes. It's not about myself. It's not about Sandy. It's about putting a positive experience for these student athletes that are coming away for the first time going to college.
Thank you for mentioning Mr. Franz too. I forgot about that. He's been a critical part of getting this whole thing together as well.
Yes, he has.
Yeah. He's a Wenatchee Valley College legend. Another Wenatchee Valley College legend couldn't make it. So instead we invited Sandy Cooprider to fill in for that gentleman. How are you, Coop?
I'm doing awesome.
You've been beating the streets, buddy. This Kenny Mayne thing has become almost a
full-time job.
Your white whale, man. It really is.
I have to take a nap before I go to bed now.
I want to call you Ishmael now.
Yeah.
The word is out. Where are we as we tape this here in mid-April as we're getting ready for the big night on the 9th?
Well, it's pretty exciting. I just talked to Kenny just the other day, and he's pretty excited about coming out. He's bringing his daughter, and he's been out here a few times, at my request, and so this is kind of how we got this all kind of going. And he's excited to come back and do this because he's going to give back, which not too many people feel that way sometimes when they leave. But he wants to give back. I think that he could get a large sum of money for the stand-up comedy and his documentary. And so basically he's done a couple of Las Vegas stand-up, very well received. Went to Comedy Central back in New York, and I think he did it there as well. And so it's just a matter of bringing him back, but I think it's a matter of getting the word out to people because this is going to be a great night of entertainment. We've got a jazz band that's going to play. Michael Cholman, who is an instructor here, one of my former colleagues, is in the band itself. And then we're going to do the silent auction, do a paddle for $1 for student athlete scholars, working on a match up to $20,000, so we could do really very well there. We got some pretty awesome silent auction items. We've got a elk hunt. We've got a couple of fishing guided tours, through Bob File. We're working on maybe a buffalo hunt. And we've got Xbox. We've got
Mariner tickets,
golf here and there. So it's going to be a night of fun. We're going to have the Wenatchee Valley Tech Center do all of the hors d'oeuvres and stuff, and they're going to serve it, which we can highlight them because, they need to have some I think, positive reinforcement.
And practical experience.
Yeah, practical
It's one thing
experience.
to cook food for your classmates. It's another thing to cook food for 200 people.
And we're getting all the food donated, okay, and they're going to prepare it so that our costs went way down from that because that was a big cost factor. But it's just going to be a kind of an exciting night. It's got the Whiskey Trail Band going to play afterwards, 8:30 to question mark. That kind of thing.
Well, the best case scenario is the cops show up and throw everybody out. That's right. That's the best case scenario.
Yeah. Hopefully it doesn't go back past my bedtime. So.
We had a great conversation with Kenny at his home in Connecticut. I didn't fly to Connecticut. We did it by Zoom. He had a gazillion Coop stories. Most of them were true. Most of them we couldn't broadcast on television.
Okay.
That's another story altogether. But to have Kenny, who had such fond memories of playing football for you in the Apple Bowl back in the mid-'70s, for him, he said when Coop called me, it was like, I'll be there. Give me the date and the time, and I'll be there. That says a lot about Kenny Mayne.
It does. It definitely does. I mean, he's been my friend. He's helped us out, a couple times. 2000 came back, was the MC. With that, Don Coryell came back to that. Tom Perry, Bill Pandiani, Jim Sollers, all some of the great coaches that have been here. That kind of thing. It was fun. He came back for my retirement in 2015, and here it is. Fast forward, he's coming back again.
Personal note: retirement, you suck at it. By the way, Sandy, you're not very good. I was talking to Mr. Sparling earlier. Individual tickets are going really good, but tables. Reserve tables, we could move a little bit more.
Yes,
those,
yeah,
right?
we need to have everybody that wants to have a great night of entertainment. You go through their company, get collectively 8 people that want to buy a table, $100 a piece. they get a lot of bang for their buck for $100, and so and it's an opportunity because here's somebody that is well known in the sports world, and even other than that, other celebrities. I've been watching some of his YouTubes with some of the people he's interviewed. I mean, it's just amazing that he had the success that he had at ESPN, and it all started here, believe it or not, when we were done with two-a-day practices. We do skits. So he took the end of a toilet paper roll, the cardboard, and duct taped a tennis ball on it. He went around and did interviews with all the athletes. Well, that was his start right here.
Right here.
His claim to fame right here at Wenatchee Valley College.
You sound like a proud papa, Sandy. You really do.
Yeah,
you really do.
It's fun to see collectively. I think some of the athletes that have gone through, I could start naming names, all kinds of things, and how success stories that they are. So.
It is on May 9th. Do not show up and expect just to fork over some money and walk in. Don't work that way. They got to prepare food. They got to figure out how much other things they need to do. You have to buy your ticket in advance. If you go to the Wenatchee Valley College Athletics website, it's the first thing you see. QR codes, everything. You've made it as simple as possible to get your ticket.
Yes, and finally, gowvc.com is a great website to go to.
Where are you off to today here after what you're going to go out and beat the bushes again, Sandy?
Well, I'm probably going to go home and shower first.
You know what? On behalf of Mr. Sparting and myself, we appreciate that. Yeah. That would be, we're kidding. His personal hygiene is impeccable. And I'll be talking with Kenny soon, and maybe one more little love between you two before the 9th, if you don't mind.
Awesome. Look forward to it.
Good to see you, Coop. Go Knights.
Okay, go Knights.
All right.
Thank you.
Watch you wake up on Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
You trust the same doctor for your health and the same dentist for your smile. Trust Global Car Care to keep your vehicle running strong. We track your car's history so it gets the right care at the right time. With our 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on parts and labor, you'll drive away with confidence. Global Car Care, your automotive experts. We service all makes and models, but specialize in Sprinter vans, Mercedes, Audi, Volkswagen, and BMW. Call or visit us today.
Hey, welcome back to Save Mart. What can we help you find today?
We're looking for a mattress.
Oh, right this way. We got a large selection. We have this pillow top here.
Oh, comfortable.
We have more to choose from down here.
Oh.
I think I have the perfect one over here for you.
I guess we'll take this one.
You'll find it at Save Mart. Full service at a low, low price.
Shop Talk on this Friday. It's going to be a very pleasant evening tonight. Leave off the field at the Apple Bowl. From Big Nine Soccer, the Wenatchee Panthers Eisenhower Cadets, the winner will assume at least a tie for first place in the Big Nine. We had an incredible match last Tuesday with the Wildcats and the Panthers in East Wenatchee. Now it's the Panthers and the Cadets tonight. 6:45 airtime. 7 o'clock is when the match begins right here on this very TV station. Also streaming on our Facebook page and our YouTube page. If you can't make it, but you still want to check it out, you can watch it tonight. It'll be a very good match indeed. Looking forward to it. Instead of consulting with the National Weather Service for the forecast, let's go ahead and use the Magic 8 Ball. I do this now every once in a while. Oh, Magic 8 Ball, what will the weather be like this weekend? And the 8 Ball says yes. So yes, we are going to have weather this weekend. Partly sunny today. You can see what's going on right now is pretty much what we're going to have most of the day today. The very tail end of the day, 6:30, 7-ish, about an hour before sunrise, it'll be fairly cloudy. And we'll top off at about 69. No rain tonight, despite all the clouds. 50 for the overnight low. That is mild for this time of the year. We're going to have the cloud cover, so the blanket will be on, for lack of a better term. Our normal overnight low is 39, so very mild for the overnight low. On Saturday, slight chance of rain, partly sunny, high of 65. Saturday night, partly cloudy, 45 for the overnight low. Sunday's looking good. I think sunshine and 67 is acceptable to just about everybody. Monday, a little bit cooler. With a high of 64, and then overnight Monday into Tuesday, a rather active cold front comes in. It's not packing a lot of moisture. Could get some rain on Tuesday afternoon with some light snow in the upper elevations of the Cascades on Tuesday night. But the big story is a significant cool down. Some pretty chilly air is going to slide down here and pay us a visit for most of next week. That's it for us. Have a great weekend, provided the show isn't canceled. I'll see you Monday. Bye-bye.